Hello again guys, welcome back to another Big Al Devlin video here at the House of Devlin. Now this is a very different video to what I normally film, which is typically about fitness or paganism or just basically, I hate bullies or whatever it might be at the moment that I talk about. Instead, this video is all about me sharing with you my love and my hobby that I've been doing since I was 10 years old. And it's not my martial arts, as some of you may be guessing. I've been doing that since I was 5, so I haven't been doing it quite as long as my martial arts. But it's a collecting hobby, which is miniature wargaming essentially. I collect 40k. And I collect what I would call Warhammer, but is now known as Age of Sigmar. And this is the first video in what I hope to be a progress video on my newest of 40k armies. Obviously, I've been collecting now for 20 years, so I've had a bit of everything. And I'm quite versed in the not the rule set, so I don't play so much, but in the fantasy, in the sort of the background, what we call the fluff of the universe where all this sci-fi sort of stuff happens. If you're familiar with 40k, obviously you know that I'm dumbing it down a little bit, but I'm just doing an intro video to the viewers on this channel who may be interested in watching these videos. They may not be. There's no obligation obviously to watch every video that I put out there if you're a fan or whatever, but if you are interested in miniature wargaming, then this is another facet, another side to my personality, so to speak. And what I do is I do this for relaxation. I play computer games and I make models. I love it. It calms me down. It keeps me focused, and it can distract me very, very much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera around and I'm going to show you the army that I'm planning to do, which is a 2,000 point Imperial Knights army. Okay, now 2,000 points is pretty much the standard points that you would use for an army these days. Can be 1750 or 1850, depends on which tournament you want to go to, because you can play with these models. But I collect. That's all I do, is I collect, and I hope one day to be able to go to local tournaments, or maybe a tournament down in Warhammer World. It's always been a dream, but it's the dream of many a gamer. That I would have to get regular gaming for. I'd have to practice. It's just like everything else, like with my martial arts, or anything along those, or my weightlifting. You have to practice to be good at it, and I would want to try and at least do the very best that I can do at those tournaments. So because I haven't played a game in about 15 years, I think I'd be a bit rusty. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn around the camera. I'm going to show you what I've got, and this will be a regular video series. I'm not going to commit to like doing it every day, or because I'm not going to be modeling every day, but every week or anything like that. But I want to just show you what I've got, and then periodically I'll show you how it's developing, how it's going on, problems that I've come up with, just to see if you've got any solutions if you're into wargaming. And I just want you to share the excitement that I have for developing such a cool army. I mean, this is going to be a cool army. Imperial Knights. Basically, Imperial Knights are big, gigantic robots that basically just step on people and have big ass motherfucking guns attached to them. So they're quite cool. Obviously, you don't have a lot of them on the battlefield. They may have 100 models, you may have 5, but that's part of the fun. It's like almost like Sparta versus the Persians in that sense. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what I've got. Okay, guys, so this is my gaming table. As you can see, if we turn the light over here just to make it a little bit easier, I have the special limited edition rule book as well. I've been collecting these models over a period of time, but I haven't had time to make any of them, not even open them. You can see the cellophane packaging is still around the bits and pieces that I've got, and I've got more. basically, as you can see here, I've got all my tools and all my modeling stuff, and that's because I was trying to do, as well as an Imperial Knight army, I was trying to do, let's see if that can focus, a Dark Eldar force as well, and so I was sculpting some bases and stuff like that for them that would look cool, but basically I don't think it's going to work out between me and a Drukhari. I'm an Imperial player. I play Imperial, goddammit. So I can't betray the Emperor. So I've decided to stick purely to Imperial Knights, and if I want to expand my 40k collection, I'll be expanding it with this in mind, whether it's getting them some stormtroopers or just getting more knights. I mean, getting more knights is always a good thing, isn't it? Right. Let's talk about the bits that aren't models to start off with. So we've got the limited edition rulebook, which unfortunately I haven't got here to show you. That's in the bedroom, and I can't be asked to go get it, basically. But I've got the limited edition rulebook. It's basically the same as your rulebook that you will have, the codex for the army, but it's just a little fancier to look at. And I will do a video on that book anyway, so you'll be able to see it in detail anyway on another video. I bought some data cards because if I do get a few games in, you never know, I might be able to get a few games in. I've been looking on the internet for local gaming clubs, and there's one not that far away, actually. It's only about 25 minutes drive away, which is well within my sort of limits because I have travel anxiety. So I will be able to travel and be able to play and go to tournaments and stuff. And so if that's the case, these datasheet cards just means I don't have to take my lovely limited edition rulebook with me over to where I play and get it all grubby or tear a page or something along those lines. So those cards are there just basically to protect my book if I get into gaming, and same here as well. They're just blown up versions of this, I think, and these have like, you know, your stratagems and stuff like that, whereas these are just the rules for the models themselves. And then I bought 1, 2, 3. I thought I bought 4, but apparently I've only bought 3 packs of 12, I believe it is, Imperial Knights dice. Oh no, 20 dice. Okay, so that's good. So I've got 60 Imperial Knight dice, and it's a little hard to show you, but there you go. You can probably, if I get it underneath the light, do apologise. This is the first time I've really been filming a gaming video and trying to make it look, you know, professional, so to speak. So if I'm making mistakes, forgive me. Okay, but you can see they look so cool. So you've got your, you know, that would be a 1, that would be a 6, and you got 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So they're going to look super cool, and it keeps everything themed. Alright, let's get rid of all this shit. Now this just confirms why I'm collecting them, because that's what the army essentially will look like once it's built. And imagine that just coming towards you, 3 massive robots, and well, not 4, but 3. I'll be able to fit 3 in a 2,000 point force. Little smaller robots, which are still really a lot bigger than your standard infantry, which come up to about here. You know, so yeah, but this is going to be my army. Okay, so I'm going to take 2 Imperial Knights, okay, and I'm going to load them up. I can't remember the exact army list, but I'm going to take a Castellan, pretty much as set, you know, stock weaponry, okay, including the missiles and stuff. I'm not going to, you know, swap anything around up there. I'm going to I'm going to take this basically as it's set, including the gauntlets and the Punisher cannons, or whatever they're called, the Gatling cannons. You can tell it's been a while since I've read the rule book. Or am I going to take battle cannons? It's either them or battle cannons. I think I'm taking battle cannons, actually. So either them or battle cannons. Why don't you put it in the comment section? If you're familiar with 40k, what do you think? Them or battle cannons, depending on what I can fit in regards to points. And then I'm going to take 3 Helverins for added firepower. So it's going to be House Griffith as well. if that will mean something to some of you. It's just going to be so cool, because even though these guys aren't going to be like completely dedicated to close combat, in fact, potentially going to be weak in close combat compared to what they could be. If I did it, I could have kitted them out much more for close combat and melee. It doesn't matter. They're still big ass robots which can step on you. So these guys are really sort of overall, they can protect themselves in combat. They can blast the shit out of you at range. The only things they don't have are psychic powers or that many in numbers, so they're going to struggle to control objectives and stuff like that. But that, they'll just go up and kick you off the objective. That's hope anyway. But it doesn't really matter, because I'm not a gamer, I'm a collector. So I'm not looking for like the best performing armies out there, but I do want a good army nonetheless. And I thought I'd just share you the sort of beginnings of it. Obviously things can change as I go along, but I just thought I'd whet your appetites, guys. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and seeing my little collection that I have there. I collect Night Haunt in Age of Sigmar as well, and I've got basically a similar process to this, where I've got the boxes but I just haven't opened them. Because I've moved house recently and things like this, and it's easy to buy the stuff, but with my Xbox down there, it's more tempting to play the Xbox sometimes than it is to do the modelling. But I'm trying to be good now. I'm trying to just do a little bit of modelling every time I would normally play a bit of Xbox. I'll just do at least 5-10 minutes on the modelling, and once you start, it's addictive, isn't it? You just keep going. 2 hours can go. And so I'm going to be using this to help me relax. Regard to the bases and the overall theme of the army, I'm going to try and give a sort of wire mesh to the base, so it looks like they're walking on metal sort of a metal grid sort of thing. I'm going to be sculpting that, as you saw with the sort of Dark Eldar. I sculpt my bases. This is a relatively new skill that I've learned, so I hope I don't mess it up, because Imperial Knight bases do cost quite a bit to replace, but I'll practice on smaller bases, like your typical infantry size bases, your 25mm bases. But other than that, guys, I don't think I've got anything else really to tell you, other than I hope you're excited. So if you're into Age of Sigmar, you're into 40k, and you just want to, from time to time, see someone different here on YouTube, do with a different perspective, a sort of purely collecting perspective, show you their models and show you how they're building their armies up over time. And we can have discussions on it and stuff, but not super competitively, then I'm the person to come to. And I hope you enjoy the videos. As I say, my intentions for the future, and I tend to keep my promises, as those guys who watch my regular videos are aware of. I do intend to try and get down to a gaming club, and if they allow me to film a few games, I'll even film a few games and refine the process as we go on. This is a really rough and tough video, I know. It's not the most professional video in regards to presentation, but I'll learn how to make it look more professional for this type of filming. But this is how my videos normally work. Where I just sit and talk basically about whatever topics I'm talking about. But I'll put all this together, and as I say, I hope you at least enjoyed seeing my collection, guys. I love just looking at it now. I'm like, yeah, I've got to get into one of those. The only problem is, as an Imperial, because they're Imperial Knights, they're not small infantry models. I'm a bit scared to actually start putting them together, because if I make a mistake early on or anything along those lines, it's going to be, oh no. But of course, one good piece of news, if you haven't already heard, new Imperial Knight transfer sheets are available at Games Workshop from yesterday. So and they include House Griffith. So I collect House Griffith, so being able to use, I'm going to pick a few of them up basically, being able to use them to add detail to the models will be fantastic. But I'm still undetermined actually. I want to play House Griffith, but I'm not a massive fan of that sort of bone colour that they typically come in. It's very hard to paint on big models, especially. Small models, not a problem. You know, I collected undead. I've collected undead literally since the beginning, so I'm familiar with painting bone. But it's not bone, is it? It's something different. It's strange. It's unusual. It's a bit like why I never collected Dark Angels with their Terminators. It's a colour scheme that I've never liked on anything other than the undead. So it can look good, and I've seen some fantastic examples, but I'm not sure if I'm good enough painter to match their kind of quality. So I'm looking at potentially an alternative colour scheme, an alternative house that's not in the book, but that can act as House Griffith. And so if you guys have got any colour schemes or ideas, feel free to share them with me. You know, if it's orange and black or purple and gold or whatever, sounds a bit, well, purple and gold sounds a bit like Selenesh is coming, isn't it? But anyway, if you've got any ideas, please feel free to share. I need your help, guys, on this, or I'll just sit here and think and use it as an excuse not to do the models. You know what it's like. I'll see you soon, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye bye.